Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill DeMent, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall drywall repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
Hey, James, cool topic here that we're going to be talking about. I was thinking about, it's burning shoe leather.
Yeah.
And that's an old topic because how many shoes are even
leather?
Yeah, even leather. They don't have leather sole. I mean, they do still make them, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
They're not as common as they used to be.
Yeah.
That used to be the standard material.
Well, we have lots of verbiage around here that sometimes like, what does that really mean? But
yeah, well, but if salesmen back in the day, 50, 100 years ago, they were out walking in those shoes. They were burning that shoe leather. That's how they were making. That's how they were making their nut.
It reminds me of the old gumshoe, the old, the police officers on the beat.
Yeah, because they stick to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about, for us, in Hole in the Wall, we've got this verbiage we use. We use it for all of our training. We use it for our franchisees. It's about burning shoe leathers. And there's really an art to doing this business development. What does it mean to burn shoe leather? And frankly, the reality is that most businesses, they don't thrive because of fancy marketing campaigns. We have plenty of them, but we don't thrive on that.
Yeah.
We grow because people trust us. We get referrals. We build relationships. And that's done over time through getting out there and just doing the work, pressing the pavement and burning that shoe leather. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes effort, energy. You've got to be really intentional about how you're going to do this quote unquote burn shoe leather.
Yeah. We talked about this on another podcast recently where, the wheels of sales have to be greased a little. Mm-hmm. And in any business, if something doesn't sell, then everything else that follows in that business doesn't happen.
Right.
If there's no sale, if there's no revenue coming in or leads coming in the funnel, there is no work to go do. There is no bill to go collect. There is no customer to make happy.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have the best processes there are in operations, making sure that the work is done quality, making sure you follow through and you get good payments and good value. But if you don't have leads, if you don't have work coming in the front door, there is no jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And one other thing I'd like to point out, it's not only is this critical when you're a new business because you're going from zero to I need some customers.
Right.
So hypercritical, but it's also important in an existing business, whether you want to maintain or grow. And I know at some point we were like, dadgummit, how do we get to the next level? Well, how we do that is we go burn some shoe leather. We need to meet some new people, back to the basics. Yeah, exactly right.
Well, let's dig into what does it mean? What does burning shoe leather mean? What is the definition of it? To me, it's all about being proactive in your business development. For us, we call it don't hide behind the brand, right? Don't let the work come to you.
Yep.
You can do a lot with digital marketing. I mean, and for us, we say that at least a third of your business will come if you spend the right money, you have the right talent pushing your online presence.
Right.
But that's not enough to sustain big growth. Not in our business. You have to actually get out there.
Yeah, and we noticed that in our front office, we have a lot of people who call and place orders. Mm-hmm. And so we have at times been I've accused us of being order takers.
Right.
The only thing missing is, would you like fries with that?
Yeah.
Because we have good marketing. We have a good name, a good presence locally, and an overwhelming majority of our calls by number, the leads coming in our funnel are somebody calling on the phone. They've seen our social media. Well, that's something that's working in the background all the time. But if you want to supplement that, if you want to move beyond that and truly grow, it just requires more.
Well, our close rate is really good at those type of phone calls. But again, it's not sustainable for long-term growth. You can't expand and you can't scale with just relying on that social media marketing. Let's just want to just dump a gajillion dollars into it. Even still, we find every day that we've been in this town for 14 years. And every day, people who are in adjacent industries go, where were you last week? I could have used your services. Mm-hmm. They still don't know where we are.
Yeah.
This is what this burning shoe leather is. It is drumming up business. It's seeking out actively opportunities rather than waiting for them to come to you.
Yeah.
And so some examples of this, right? So we all hate them, but cold calls.
Oh, they can be so uncomfortable.
They're very uncomfortable. No one likes to do cold calls. And frankly, I'm not a huge fan of cold calls, but For us specifically, when we're trying to do business development, who are the people that you need to do business with? Well, for us, it's a lot of trades.
Yeah.
I want to meet the roofers and the realtors and the property managers, and I want to meet the pest control companies and the plumbers, electricians. Well, if they're not seeking us, we've got to find a way to go knock on their door,
Yeah.
go get an email, go do a donut drop or whatever.
Well,
you
we
wanna
have to
call
pop
them.
on their radar somehow,
We've
don't
got to
we?
get on their radar. So, unfortunately, cold calls are important, but more importantly, you got to follow up with them. Make sure you're reaching out to those clients and referral partners. At the end, we talked about donut drops, pop-in visits.
Yep.
I was just kind of giving kudos to one of our franchisees lately because he bought a list of all the plumbers in his area, and he was just every Friday going out and just he bought a bunch of gourmet cookies and he put a hole in the wall propaganda on it, and he would just knock on doors, 5 to 10 every Friday. And he ended up just by doing that was able to drum up two of the largest plumbers in his area.
Wow.
So he's now going to be referred to them, continuously because they do drywall damage on
Yeah.
all their jobs.
Yeah.
So just a little act of dropping off $15, $20 worth of cookies just kind of helped him drum up that business.
Yeah. And you're, with the pop-in visits and stuff, just showing up and just kind of shaking hands and, making face-to-face connections with people.
Yeah. And leave them something. Leave them, whether it's a pen, a business card, a capability statement, leave them, a flyer, a brochure, or
Right.
something. Just
Yeah.
because they don't need you right now, potentially, but they're going to need you eventually.
Mhm.
And so you want to be what we call top of the mind, TOP, a TOM, top of the mind marketing. You want to make sure you are just there when they need you, they're going to, oh yeah, hold on, we'll just call them. Right?
Yeah.
That's important. But
Yeah.
they only get there by multiple touch points,
Yeah.
emails, follow-up visits, things like that.
What is it BNI says, and we're going to talk about that next,
Mhm.
the networking events, but what is they say
Vi-
visibility.
Visibility leads to credibility, which leads to profitability, the VCP.
And it's right.
Mhm.
How many times people show up and they just want to pass out cards and take orders.
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
Yeah.
But in truth, your visibility does lead to credibility. People go, okay, well, this is once people see you on a regular basis, then they begin to build confidence in who you are. Then they get interested in what you have.
Mm-hmm. And it's important to get in front of people who need your business at places that they're going to be, right? So obviously popping in is fine. That's a lot of windshield time. That's a lot of time where you're just kind of out hoping that they're there, right?
Yeah.
But if you find societies, if you find organizations like a BNI networking group,
Mhm.
or like maybe a chamber of commerce,
Right.
or if there's a leads group, of some sort of so for us, we're joining the Builders Association here in Orlando, which is a nationwide association. So they have meetings on a routine basis. So you get in front of people who would need your services. So you have to go out there and do this uncomfortable networking.
Mhm.
I actually don't like to be around a lot of people, but I force myself to make sure I'm going out there and shaking hands.
Yeah, and my hat's off to you. You do a great job of that. You're very consistent with it. And I see you go to sometimes 2 and 3 evening type groups
Yeah.
and just last week, I know you were saying to me you went to 2 or 3 just within a couple 3-day period. And how many leads did you come
Yeah,
home with?
I did two events, and one was during business hours and one was after. And I walked away with 3 jobs, 3, not just jobs, but referrals and partnerships that could lead to more business down the road.
Yeah, that's
'Cause-
great stuff right
Because
there.
that's what's important. Because obviously the normal customer for us brings us a job or two. If you're a homeowner, you're going to have the need for drywall repair once or twice in 5-10 years.
Mhm.
But if you are a trade, if you're a plumber or an electrician,
Yeah.
I have to sell you one time, build your trust, and then you refer me all the time.
Yeah.
So building those relationships.
So
are
might be
important.
a good time to kind of mention a strategizing when you go to some of these networking events too.
Mhm.
It's so the goal isn't to go in there and meet everybody and shake every hand in the place. You're not trying to get elected.
Yeah.
The goal is to have maybe a handful of meaningful relationships and really connect with 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
But come away from the event having connected with someone. And that's your strategy going in.
Yeah, and don't go in blind, right? So go in with whether it's a business card or a QR code or just some place to point to a website, but go in with because you always get asked whether it's an after hours cocktail or whether it's meetings. Hey, what do you do? Well, have something to say.
Yeah.
What is your elevator pitch? What is going to be that 30-second to 60-second window of opportunity? Because they have now asked you, what do you do?
Yeah.
Well, what do you do? Can
Mhm.
you articulate that? Write it down, figure it out what it is, practice it. and you may be able to realize that this person is not somebody that could use me, or I don't want to be with them. So you just truncate it down a little bit, and then you wish them well. But then you ask for, if I'm going in next week, I'm going to this event. It's for realtors and for trade services. So I'm going in looking for specific trade service people, roofers, people who are in the trades that could use our services. So I'm going in, and if I meet somebody and say they're a mortgage broker, good. I want them to know who we are.
Sure.
But I'm going to ask that person, do you know anybody here that's in the trades? They say, oh, yeah, I know Jim Bob. He's over here from such and such roofing company. Let me introduce you. And then they walk me over and say, hey, have you met James yet with Hole in the Wall? And then it becomes more of a meaningful transaction.
Sure.
And you're just getting in front of that somebody and just show them kind of your value. And listen, I got to tell you, this whole thing, Bill, you're not selling. The most annoying thing there is to do at a networking event is try to sell your services.
Right.
You're not selling. You're just bringing awareness to people of who you are and what value your business brings to them and their customers.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. You're casual. Any of the high pressure salespeople, hey, can I get a meeting with you? Come by next week. That always fails. It always fails. But being able to leave a card, being able to grab a card, being able to follow up. Hey, nice meeting you yesterday.
Yeah.
Any chance we could do a Zoom meeting, or any chance to come by, and say hi. That's how that works for us. We did talk about being intentional, and that's really important, showing up. And the idea, though, is relationships. You want to build lasting relationships, because those relationships, you build those trust, and it's key.
Yeah, and hopefully you can demonstrate to those relationships the value that you can bring them.
Yeah.
It's not always, and especially not about what you can get out of it. I mean, we're all hoping to get something. Obviously, that's why we're out there doing this. But if you can approach it with a mindset of what can I bring to help someone else to up their game,
right?
Then I think you'll find that'll be reciprocated to you.
Mm-hmm. So it's important that before you just go out there and just start handing out business cards, like we talked about earlier, you can't expect a flood of work. This takes time. These relationships take time to build. And it's the long game. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So, obviously outline your ideal customer. Who is the ideal customer? Who is a good referral partner for you?
Yeah, good point.
Right? Before you start pounding the pavement, burning shoe leather, know who you're looking for. And if you don't define your audience, you're just going to wander around aimlessly.
Yeah, I'm thinking for us, it's probably not a good idea to go talk to auto mechanics and, hair salons. Those aren't going to be our customers. But we do have a specific list of customers that we like.
Yeah, we partner really well with other trades and other people that have to be in the home services style sphere. Realtors are great for us.
Yes, they are.
Property managers are great for us. Though they're not in the trades, but they still are good referral partners for us.
Yeah.
In Orlando alone, we've got over 21 solar companies that we work for.
Yes.
When Tesla does a power wall, they scar the drywall, they always call us to come and fix that, repair up. Roofers and plumbers, home inspectors, pest control companies.
Yep. And I might add to that, other solar companies and even remodelers, guys that are doing kitchen and bath work.
Mm-hmm. And even general contractors utilize our services a lot because they're doing the bigger jobs and they just need this bump out stuff. Yeah. And that's where we're a great fit for them.
I know a lot of times we'll reach out and talk to one of these other trades partners, and we hear this a lot. Thank you, but I already have a guy. Mm-hmm. And what we have discovered is everybody has a guy until they don't. Yeah. Until he retires, or until he's sick, or he doesn't show up again for the 6th time this month, or the frustrations mount. And our approach always has been, listen, you got a guy, great. We don't want to take anybody's job, but we just want you to know we're here as a resource if we can help.
Well, and this has happened before. We had a roofer from the east coast of Florida, and we used to do a ton of work. We're talking like 6 figures worth of work almost a year with this company. And then out of nowhere, it kind of dried up. And we reached out and say, well, just curious, we haven't heard from him for a while. Like, oh, we got a guy in-house now that's doing it for us.
Yeah.
Well, and then all of a sudden one day, a few months later, we get like 11 work orders in our email. Mm-hmm. Hey, can you do these 11 jobs? And come to find out his guy either got sick or left or just like disappeared for weeks on end. And they're like left holding the bag. Their customers are kind of complaining. And so what they ended up doing, they ended up calling the people they could trust. We're reliable. We're here. And they called us.
Call the backup. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really important to know who your ideal customers are, so that you know where to point your gun. You know where to where to go put your energy.
Yeah, have a plan. When you go to these events, make sure it's not without a strategy. And then set goals for yourself. Set weekly goals or monthly goals. And whether that's just to follow up with calls or visits, go through the business cards you've gotten. Hopefully you've got some sort of system that if you do get a card, you can put it in your CRM and then that pops out, newsletters or some sort of drip campaign to kind of help you keep in contact with those people. And track your results. Who's responding? What events are the most beneficial for you? So this way you can kind of aim that marketing tool, that business development tool in the proper direction. And make sure you're practicing your pitch. Be clear, be concise. I have a really hard time with this. All the people that I coach in my networking group, it's not James Groves Hole in the Wall. It's James Groves Hole in the Wall drywall repair. Because if they see hole in the wall, they may not know what we are.
Sure.
If I don't say the words drywall repair, then they now go, what do you do? And hopefully you got my shirt on and they look down and say, oh, drywall repair. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you're not concise, and what's your name? Oh, James Groves. Like, to me, it's important that you're clear. Like, even when I answer the phone, it's like, make sure you're clear so people don't question that they got the wrong number.
Right.
Did you know that there are over 140 million homes in the U.S.? 97% of them have walls and ceilings that are built using drywall. The drywall repair industry is simply enormous, valued at over $13 billion a year. We're Hole in the Wall Drywall Repair, and for years we have been perfecting the art of repairing drywall, developing and refining our systems, and strengthening our brand. Our business model is simple, scalable, and easy to learn. We believe it's a real game changer. We are successful drywall repair pros who decided to take our repair business to a higher level, growing both our franchise training and support to industry-leading standards. You'll benefit from our vast experience helping your franchise hit the ground running and achieve success quickly. We'll give you access to our marketing team that has created strategic programs designed to get your phone ringing and booking new business fast. Join a fast-growing leader in an exciting dynamic segment of the home service industry by franchising with Hole in the Wall Drywall Repair. Start building your own business and securing your own financial future today.
You want to make sure you're offering value to, don't just go sell to people. We talked about that a minute ago. But you know what? A good way to do that when you meet someone is to ask questions and find out ways to help other people.
Yeah.
We like to talk about this a lot. Actually, I've trained my kids this way. If you want to ingratiate yourself with people that you've just met, ask them about themselves.
Yep.
And my kids know my series of questions. Oh, are you from Orlando? Because that's applicable to anyone in any situation. Yes, I'm from here. No, I'm not. Oh, you're from here? Oh, great. Where'd you go to high school?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I went to Boone. Oh, you went to Boone High School. What year did you graduate? Oh, and then you went to FSU, so you begin to just ask about them, as my wife would say, ask them questions about the topic they're the world's greatest expert on, themselves. People do like to talk about themselves, and they like it when people are interested in them. Of course, it's not an interrogation.
Sure.
And they may ask some questions of you too, and you would hope for that.
Yep.
But this show true interest. And if you don't know how to do it, then you have a set of questions that lead you down a path, and pretty soon it's going to hit a tripwire, something that's really interesting.
Yep. And it's important that you do that, but make sure you're being an active listener. Listen to what they're saying. Don't just be thinking of the next question you're going to ask.
Correct.
Listen to what they're saying, because they're going to say something. Because, oh, yeah, well, I was raised in Florida, but I was born in, Michigan. Oh, really? Something. So or it could be something just as simple as, my family has a history in.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, if you can relate to somebody that's not business, you can relate to somebody that's kind of in their own sphere. Like, we interviewed someone the other day. He's a really big fan of World War II. Well, guess what? We are. We're fans of World War II. Guess what we could talk about? So it's not just business for 5-10 minutes.
No, but he was listening. He picked up on a quote from Winston Churchill in one of the early conversations I had with him.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's really good. You guys like World War II? Yes, we do. We think it's interesting.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, sometimes you just don't have the will. You don't have the power. We call it as the spirit moves around here. But sometimes you just have to just do it, right? There's a difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is important, but discipline is when you still do the things you need to do when you're not motivated, right? So, lastly, get out there and just do it.
Well, that's, what's his name? James Clear, Atomic Habits. You fall to the...
Yeah. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to your systems.
Yeah, you fall to the level of your systems.
Mhm.
And so if you have good systems, they should uphold you
Mhm.
when you don't necessarily feel like it.
Yeah. So being successful is not about being perfect. Okay. Being good at this is not about being perfect because guess what? You're going to make mistakes, but it's about being consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. And even if you make a fool of yourself one time, you can go back and laugh about it down the road. Oh man.
Well, you'll know not to do
Yeah.
that again next
Yeah.
time. So you've learned something.
Yeah. And I've even gone back to people and said, man, well, shoot, I was tongue tied last time I saw you. Boy, thanks for even talking to me again. Ha ha ha. We have a laugh. And then boom, we're right back
You're
into
right
the
back at 'em.
conversation. You know?
Yeah. Well, and then one thing I would say, stay patient with it. Stay persistent, stay patient, because you're not going to see immediate results. Now, it happens sometimes.
Sure.
It's happened to me. I've had a conversation with somebody and they're like, "Do you have a card? My wife has this hole in her closet, and I didn't even know who to call."
Yep.
That has happened, but you can't count on that. So you just stay patient, you stay at it, and you just keep practicing.
Yeah. Listen, just advice is if it feels awkward at events, just push through it. It's going to be okay. And if you see yourself doing awkward things, you just learn from your mistakes and try not to do those awkward things again.
Well, and there's a lot of help out there. There are books. There are people you can work with to help you refine how you behave, how you speak, how you act when you're networking. And if you're not a natural at it, there are tricks that you can learn.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that always stuck in my mind, and I think I heard it from BNI, is to take a mindset that it's networking, not net loafing.
Right.
So, it's not like you want to go to a dance and you're the shy boy who can't ask a girl for a dance.
Right.
You want to go work it a bit. And the guys who get to dance with the girls are the ones who can muster the courage to get over there and ask.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's not immediate. You have to be patient. You will find immediate results, but it is the long game. Just think we are playing this long game, and we're going to be nervous. But guess what? You just practice.
Yeah.
You just practice. So we joined my BNI networking group, and every week you have to give us 60 seconds, kind of like a sales pitch, like an education on who you are and what kind of company you are, what kind of referrals you're looking for. Your first dozen times, you're like, you stink, but guess what happens over time? You refine, you rebuild.
And you get more comfortable.
And then it really helps you develop, well, really what are the key core values, the key points that we want to take away? So you just make sure you always hit those important things early, because if you don't have a lot of time with somebody,
Yeah.
make sure they know your value
Mm-hmm.
right away. So it's funny because it's a skill that takes time to grow. And we've got a young man in our organization. He's still kind of young, but he's got a heart for being out there. And he just doesn't know how to put a lot of this energy to use. But being able to then point him in the right direction, like I could not send him to a networking event solo to represent the company.
No.
But why couldn't I bring him to an event with me? And he can just be a fly on the wall and watch how he
And
interacts with
James,
people.
as a company, there was an epiphanal moment for us when we said, well, he's so young, he doesn't really know what he's doing. And the comment was,
Mhm.
so if he doesn't practice or do anything for the next year and he's 1 year older, is he any better at it then?
Yeah, start him
No.
now. Start him now.
They have to start somewhere.
Mhm. And frankly, the owner can't do everything all the time, right? That's why companies hire these big business development people or companies that kind of come in and help them build their practice. But when you're small, you can't afford that. I can't afford to have a full-time business development person here at Hole in the Wall.
No.
So that falls on me and you. That's why we divide and conquer. We go do these events,
Mhm.
and we make relationships with people. People that are in these groups that we're with, those are relationships that live for years, all well beyond the fact that you may come and go in certain groups, but those relationships build forever.
No,
And
it's true.
And if we can help this young man in our company just learn how to be better at social environments,
Yeah.
it helps us.
Well, and he'll be benefited for life as well.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that we always want to look at is being a giver, not just a taker. We want to contribute more than we're pulling out.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to kind of sum it up, it's really important that as a business owner, you don't just sit back and let all the plates that you've got spinning take care of yourself, take care of you. You need to be proactive. You need to go out there and help your business development plan succeed. And that means you're going out there, you're burning shoe leather, you're meeting people, you're doing cold calls, and you're finding the things that make your company more successful, and you're finding ways to help your clients be better companies in themselves.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we want to do here, is just make sure that we're educating everyone to understand that be intentional, but go out there and do something. Don't just sit back and just wait for it to happen.
Yeah. And I want to add another thought here too. We kind of touched on it briefly, but you know what? Interview successful networkers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can, there are people who are just good at it. And some people are good naturally at it, but almost anybody who's really good has worked at it, developed their skills, and honed their abilities to do this. And you know what? If you talk to people, matter of fact, as long as we've been doing this, not 1 hour after this podcast is done in the studio, we have someone coming in that we work with on a regular basis who helps us to do just that, to just improve ourselves.
Absolutely. I'm actually looking up his podcast now because it was so crucial. Episode 111, Sean Lydon dropped some serious knowledge just in that one episode. He's also got a great podcast of his own.
Oh, and he's got some terrific blogs too.
Great resources that are just free. And so find the people that you can talk to, whether it's LinkedIn or whether it's people in your community, to learn how to, hey, where do you guys go to get leads? Where do you go to, like we are part of an organization, called NARPM, National Association of Rental Property Managers. I had no idea that existed until one of my my property manager buddies says, hey, are you in NARPM? I'm like, what's that? And I figured, so then this is a place we need to be a part of. Why? Because property managers need our services.
Yeah.
So because I asked, because he says, hey, be in NARPM, we joined NARPM, right? And so being a part of that organization allows you to gain access to more people who are able to give you more business.
Yep. Very good.
All right. Well, good topic, Bill. I enjoy this. Burning shoe leather is important. If you're one of our franchisees, you'll hear this topic quite a bit. And if you want to learn more about it, I encourage you to go and find people like Sean Lydon in your community. So until next time, friends, thank you for listening. It was a really good show.
We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.